Computer. Hello and welcome everyone to another amazing empowerment event. We have had a great week so far for Summer Empowerment 2026. We have had a session on reckless wheelchairs where we learned about this new company. It's custom affordable. They really try to, cater to what we need, which is really amazing. And then Tuesday, we had Kaylin, our board member, speak about how to keep our longevity going, right? So we're already really fragile humans, but she gave us some really good tips on how to kind of keep our independence and our mobility going as we age with our injuries and stuff. And then last night we had an unrecorded session where we kind of just had a really intimate conversation about goals, where we were for the year, and kind of what we wanted to work on moving forward. We kind of did share some more intimate things during that call, so that one was not recorded, but the other nights are all on our YouTube channel. You can find them there. This one is also going to be recorded. So if you guys miss the recording or miss part of it, we'll have that and we'll send that out to you guys later. And so, without further ado, I'm really excited about tonight. We have an amazing new friend of mine speaking and sharing his story. We have Jay. Jay and I met this spring at an Abilities Expo, and he was just full of life and ready to kind of share his experiences and help impact and empower our community. And so tonight, Jay is going to share a little bit about his story, and how he's able to find hope after such a challenging injury and things like that. And so, without further ado, I am going to pass the mic over to Jay, and we're going to speak, and then we're going to share, we're going to get engaged. So, without further ado, Jay, thank you so much for being here, and
Thank
the floor
you.
is all yours.
All right, thank you. First off, I want to thank We're With Me Foundation and Bree and Jesse and the whole crew. I'm just very grateful to be a part of this. And like Brianna said, we met at the expo, and we passed each other. I was like, "Oh, I know you from videos and stuff." And I'm like, "I'm trying to find my people." She's like, "We're your people." So that's how we got to this part in the game. So, yeah. So basically, my name is Jay, and I am a native New Yorker. I'm from Long Island. For those that don't know Long Island, it's like right off the city. It's a little island. Well, 160 miles, Long Island, but so basically, so let's take it back to 2024. Okay, so I'm a new injury. Well, compared to a lot of people, I'm a newer injury. So August. So this month is 2 years for me. So August 2024. Um, so you can picture, I did what's called HVAC or HVAC, which is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning for those who don't know. So basically, I was like an attic rat. I would crawl around attics and run your ductwork and anything to make you comfortable in the summer and the winter. And I had my own business at the time. So I was doing that. And, I had trouble breathing that day. It was like there was a weight on my chest. So whatever, I just worked through it. I'm like, I have to man up. Let me work through it. I worked through it. At the end of the day, it was like really weighing on me. So I decided, let me go to the ER and get checked out. So I go, and they came back saying, you have pneumonia. If it got worse, come back. So needless to say, I went home. It got worse. I went back. And then, I'm going to fast forward a little bit, but next thing you know, I'm being like transmitted, transferred, whatever. You follow me. I went from one hospital to another, and then to another. They sent me to Midtown Manhattan, New York, NYU, and I was in heart failure. I'm like, heart failure. So yes, my heart was at like 15%, which is nuts. I don't even know how I was still talking, but um, then they put me on the heart transplant list. I'm like, what's going on here? And within like 7 days, I got a heart transplant. 2 days before the transplant, I ended up getting a blood clot from the machines and stuff that I was on. And it traveled. Luckily, it didn't stop higher for me, but it traveled way down T10, T10, T12. So I became, and the clot was literally there for like a minute and passed, just enough, long enough to have lack of oxygen, cause the injury. T10, T12, complete Asia A. I'm like, I don't even know what Asia, what are you talking about? Country, you know? So that happened. Okay. And, you know, they had me pumped full of so many drugs that I really didn't like dawn on me yet. And I feel like it was like maybe 2 weeks into it. And I look at my fiance at the time, and I'm like, I'm paralyzed. And she's like, you didn't realize, you know, they knew kind of before me. I guess it didn't settle in. And, you know, I was feeling at that point, listen, I've always been kind of like a positive person and whatever, roll with the punches, and I got to deal with what I get. So I do remember the doctors telling me after, they're like, do you remember what I said? A few funny things. I was like, I'm paralyzed. Well, they got those cool wheelchairs with the angled wheels and stuff. I'm gonna trick mine out. Or like, because I like tattoos and stuff. I'm like, now I can get my leg sleeves and it won't hurt, you know, things like that. Trying to make the best of it. Um, so anyway, that was basically leading up to injury. So now, as time, oh, let's touch on pressure sores. I didn't know what a pressure sore was. And I got a sacrum wound where you could literally put your fist inside. You could see my tailbone. So, you know, I don't know if any of you are familiar with like real deep in, you know, pressure sores, but I had wound vac. It took like a year. They were going to graft to cover it. Thank God it healed and I didn't have to. But I got that and the bottoms of my heels bad, you know. So the heels actually took like a year and a half to be okay. So yeah, pressure sores are like really big for me, especially with travel and stuff now. But anyway, so I ended up being in there for a total of 5 months. And the reason why, because of the sacrum wound, I ended up it was brought to, they said, listen, we suggest you go with a colostomy bag because obviously bowel, I had no control anymore. So I literally would lay in it in the wound, and that's not good. You get infections. So anyway, I got the colostomy bag and a staple inside ended up like tearing. So I didn't become septic, but it was on its way. So like that prolonged it like an extra 2 months. So I would have been there like maybe 2, 3 months and out, heart transplant, living my best life. But because of that, I ended up, you know, enjoying their lovely cuisine for a while. So I did that. And then the hardest part at that point, when things wore off, was really trying, you know, not only, so the heart transplant, everybody's like, how's the heart? I was like, honestly, it's the best out of everything. The heart was nothing. The hardest part for me was dealing with a hospital provided wheelchair because at that point I wasn't sized properly and I didn't know like you can design it to your body and stuff. So I'm in a hospital chair for like a year. I have wound vac with all these tubes. I have to catheter. You mean I have to set a timer on my phone to remember to go to the bathroom? And luckily I didn't have to really do bowel program like most do because of the colostomy. It kind of gave me freedom. I joke with people, you know, I'm like talking about the colostomy and I'm like, I'm cheating right now, you know. So that's a little joke. But so anyway, I had to get used to that stuff. That was like really hard because it became very depressing to the point where I was like suicidal. Seriously. I was like, oh my God, how can I end this? What can I do? I'm like, oh my God, I can't feel my legs. I'll just cut my leg and I'll just bleed out. And then I'm thinking, wait a minute. Sorry to get graphic, guys, but you know, my son's 15. I'm like, what if my son walks in and sees me like that? And that kid would be traumatized for the rest of his life, or my wife, or my mother, or, you know, like all these things. So I started playing the tape out. And I'm like, yeah, that's not a good way. I got to. So I would literally sit after I got home in January of 2025, the next 6 months, I literally sat in front of I have a fireplace, sat in front of the fireplace, and it's like spring, but because we're paralyzed and our core temp kind of goes down, I don't know about you, but I get cold a lot. So I was cold all the time because I think the initial, my body was like adjusting. I was cold all the time. So I would sit in front of the fireplace and I would just scroll. I'd scroll social media platforms, blah, 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 look, look, look. And then after a long time of just the nonsense, the drama, I was like, you know what? Let me put in wheelchair. Let me put in paralyzed, whatever. I started doing that. Then the people that we like to follow or people that are familiar to you, same with me, they start popping up and they're like talking about catheters and talking about pressure sores. And it kind of piqued my interest. I'm like, I deal with that. So I started getting like relating. So I'm like, hey, I identify with that, so that kind of kept my interest. So after months of that, then before, back in the day, my algorithm, all fishing, hunting, stuff like that, outdoor stuff. Now it's all, I got like Sunrise Medical. I got, seat cushion. I'm just fast forward. I just actually got a mold for my new seat cushion. So that's exciting. I'm going to get another manual. Um, but yeah, so like if anybody's struggling with the transition, because I get it. I was that way. Like, so anyway, I started following and I'm like, you know what? These guys are happy. However much time you post injury, 6 months, a year, 10 years, whatever, 30, you know, they gave me hope. They were the inspiration for me. Like a lot of my family and friends say, oh, you're so inspirational. Yeah, I love you for that. But, Brianna, Jesse, you guys, all these people that I follow, they're inspiration for me. So anyway, that's what I did. I said, if they could do it, I'm going to do it. So the easy way is to sit depressed and scroll and feel bad for yourself. I want the hard way because when I get through the hard and I come out on the other side, it's so freaking rewarding. Just the littlest things. I'm like, you know what? This stinks. I have to push through. And when I get to the other side, it is like, it's almost like a natural high to me anyway. Um, okay, so I started doing that, and then so I'm a veteran. I was in the Air Force, so thank God for the VA because like I would suggest if somebody's struggling, like what avenue do I go on? I'm these are great following people, but I need to get involved. Do what I did. Like I met Brianna. I went to the expo. The expo, by the way, so we're the minority. I finally learned that. Honestly, you go to places, how many chairs do you see? Maybe a couple, maybe one, maybe a walker. But so when I go to the expo, it's like, yo, these are my people. There was like, I don't know, 600, 1,000, however many people in chairs to relate to me. It was like, wow, I'm home. So that is why the love for Wheel With Me Foundation, hands down. So, yeah. So, okay. So then I said to myself, you know what? Because this is just me. And it's like, I don't know if it's OCD or maybe wrong word I just used, but I like to be involved in stuff because the more I'm involved, the less my brain works because it's a hamster wheel. If I sit doing nothing, no bueno. So then a friend said, why don't you reach out to the VA? Now, mind you, I've had my VA card for I've been out since 2000, 26 years or 24 years at the time. And he's like, you should reach out. I think they help vets pretty good, whatever. So then I found out that the spinal cord injury VAs are slim. There's a lot of VAs, but like I know Charlotte or Richmond is one, Tampa, like all that. I'm in Long Island. The closest to me is Bronx. I'm like, okay, boogie down Bronx, let's go. So I go. They said if you come within a year of injury, you can do inpatient here. Now I already did Rusk, which is NYU. Um, was it Rusk or did I do it backwards? Yeah. Okay. Rusk. Now I forget the name for the VA one, but anyway, they said you can do it. So I like waited to the last minute. I went like July, August, it was done. So I went there June, July, and I stayed for almost 2 months. And now, mind you, when I went there, I was using a Beezy board still. For those that don't know, it's the one that slides, unlike just a wood plank. You know, it's a disc and slides. So I was using that. I had no upper, and I have like I have good core, but I didn't know how to use it. It was so they say like for every day you're in a hospital, you're 3 days or something like that. And I was in for 5 months. Do the math. That's like over a year to get to that point. So I go to the VA. They said, okay, what are your goals? I was like, you ready? You got a pen? So I was like, I want to learn to drive. I want to learn to transfer without a board. I wanted this and that, all these things. So at the end of my stay, sure enough, I did it all. Now they had a program that you actually get your license and certified to drive with hand controls. So did that. And then after that, I put a second floor on mom's house. So we're upstairs. And I'm like, holy shit. So I had to stay down. I'm sorry to curse. Sorry. I didn't mean to say whatever. Um, so I had to stay downstairs in a hospital bed that the VA provided for like a year. My girl's upstairs, my son's upstairs. I'm like visiting them like this, come down for dinner, go up, all this. And they told me, the VA, they're like, you know what, we got to get you a stair lift. So I'm thinking, okay, that's great. Stair lifts are great, but now I need two chairs, right? One at the bottom, one at the top. I was like, okay, what if the chair up top is like across the room? What am I going to do? Plus my stair kind of, it turned. So the VA came, they said, you know what? X amount of dollars for that. Why don't you do a VPL? I was like, what's a VPL? Vertical platform lift. Now it's like 12 feet to my deck. So anyway, needless to say, got a vertical platform lift provided by the VA. Good stuff. And then being that I was doing HVAC, how cool is this? I had a customer. Now this lady was loaded. She owned a golf course, like big house, whatever. She heard of my situation, and the VPL is not enclosed. It's open to the elements, right? So if it's raining, you're like sitting there getting wet. And she's like, oh no, we're not going to let you do that. I was like, okay. She's like, so call an awning company, see if they can do an enclosure. So I called. It was like $4,200. I was like, yeah, it's $4,200. 2 days later, awning place called me. By the way, your customer Dawn, yeah, she flipped the bill. You're good. I was like, what? So that's do good to others. It'll come back 100%. So anyway, I got off track. VA, yes. So they got me all this. So now they also do a driving program. I got the license. I wanted to get a Pacifica. That's what I like. That's what I wanted. I ended up getting so I called around. Mobility Works is a company. They called me and said, hey, we got a Voyager. I was like, yeah, but that's cloth. I really want leather. She goes, no, no, no. The previous owner must have did the upgrade. It's loaded. You got leather. You got this. I was like, oh, that's perfect. I said, how much? Because I know they're like 100 and change. She's like, oh, no, this is 70 and it's got 5,000 miles. The lady only went to her doctor appointment. So I was like, I'm in. So I called the VA. I was like, hey, I got this car. She's like, send me the quote. They gave me like 40 something grand towards it. So I had to do like 30 out of pocket, which was like amazing. But there are a lot of grants out there also besides VA. If you do some research and programs, and the Wheel With Me Foundation will guide you to those, I'm sure. So that was another win-win. So I got the elevator. Well, I call it the elevator because I got to be bougie. Got the VPL. I got the car. I'm in my permobile. I have a power chair, but I also have my manual. Now, the VA will also buy you a sports chair. I'm not super into the sports yet. So I was like, I'm more of like an outdoorsy guy. Like, do we have any, I'm like, give me a track chair. I need another shed for all these toys. But they suggested, oh, how about the iBot? I was like, what's the iBot? So this thing goes off-roading, trails, climb stairs, all this crazy stuff. So I'm like, awesome. It was like a 5-hour psych eval for it. It was a 2-day training, blah, blah, blah. Needless to say, got my iBot. So Fast forward now. Okay, that was all the stuff. Fast forward to like current situation. Right now, I'm actually and I'm in a great mood, needless to say, but my left femur is actually broken and I had to get a titanium rod. I have 3 broken ribs because the IBOT, I go to visit my friend in PA, Air Force buddy. It was his birthday, pig roast. I did the stairs like 5 times. He had a back deck. So I did the stairs. Now, mind you, when you do it by yourself, it's called a solo climb. You have to have a handrail and you got to do like one hand above, one below. And you do a rocking motion, yes, and the wheels will engage. So this didn't have a handrail. It had just like a cap and spindles, a cap with spindles. So I said, I could do it. Stupid me. I one above and I held the spindle. So now, top of the stairs, I go to do it. It's PVC. The spindle comes out in my hand. I lose balance. I go down. It's like 11 steps down. I'm like, I wake up. I must have blacked out or lost, like, got the wind knocked out of me. Anyway, a lot of guys there, a lot of friends. They picked my chair up. Luckily, the chair fell next to me. Chair's 3.25. I'm like a buck 65. That's like 500 pounds of force. You're not stopping it. They picked the chair up. They put me in the chair. I'm like, holy cow. Look at me. I have no scratches. My head's not bumped. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So I start touching the lower part because I can't feel that. Right leg, good. Left leg, I noticed when I touched my thigh, I felt boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh, this is no good. End up going to the hospital, wake up in the morning to surgery, titanium rod. But luckily, everything's healed. I still have the staples, but they're coming out next week. That's that. Okay. So what I wanted to say was, I tell people all the time, they're like, oh, you can't do this. I was like, no, I can do everything still. It's just different. I can even walk, exoskeleton. I can. So now let me tell you what I've done, because getting involved gets you things and gets you to do things. So I also tell people I am more active now. Paralyzed. And this is a bad joke, so hopefully nobody takes offense to this one, but I said I'm more active now than before. I said I should have been paralyzed years ago, just messing around. Yeah. So, okay. Now, so this past year, I have been, now, mind you, this is all adaptive sports, but I've been rock climbing, I've been sailing, I've been snow skiing twice in Connecticut. I went water skiing twice in Connecticut. I just did a 5K hand cycling in Central Park. I just signed up for a 10K in October that I have to use my manual for, which is awesome. It'll be my new one. I think I'm leaning towards I was going RGK or Tylite. I think I'm going Tylite carbon fiber because the VA will get me that. I'm going to kind of trick out the spokes and make it look fancy. But so that's that. Being a vet, there's also an organization called Oscar Mike, and they do backpacking Colorado and the Rocky Mountains, which a buddy is going next on Monday. He's flying out, all paid expense. Like, it's amazing. Oh, I just got back from the National Veterans Wheelchair Games in Detroit, 8 days. Awesome. Just like the expo. Get there, all vets, all disabled in chairs. The funniest part of that wheelchair game was power soccer. I was like, no way. So power soccer, they have like a cage out the front and they whip them. It was like foosball. I was dying. But
It's funny because they don't even have regular soccer yet. Like they don't
no,
have like manual wheelchair soccer, but they
right.
have power chair
But they
soccer.
have power soccer. Yes. So I got to see everything from softball and all those sports aside from the rugby. Rugby was off site, which I missed the bus. I wish I saw that, but I'm sure that's but these guys are amazing. It's like, think about it. If you've ever fallen out of your chair, backwards, sideways, whatever way, it takes some real strength to get back in your chair if you're on the ground. I just learned floor transfers, finally got signed over. It took me 4 months to just get back in that chair. Yeah, my butt kept hitting the cushion, and you'd hear the Velcro. The Velcro. I'm like, I got to get past that. So that's been signed off, which I'm very grateful for. But these guys will get hit in like basketball, and they just boop right up. I'm like, you guys are unbelievable. So that is inspiration for me, continuing this journey. So, like I said before, I did HVAC. Oh, we're at 6. Wow, I do talk a lot. So I did HVAC for many years, 30 years. The last 5, my own company. I'm like, where do I go? 30-year career. All I know is that. I'm like, guys like, oh, work in the office, dude. I said, you know what? I'm done with HVAC. That chapter's closed. I am so gravitated to wheelchair, ADA, anything like I want to be in this like full force. So just want to share good news. 2 weeks ago, I just opened my new company. It's called Freedom Mobility. And what it's going to be is, so yes, the VA put a VPL in, right? They were a bunch of donkeys that installed it. I'm like, I can do way better with a crew. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I got the crew set up. I went partners with a master carpenter, my good buddy. I'm 51% owner, veteran. So that the VA, and I got in like this with prosthetics at the VA. He loves me. He's like, I love your energy. I'll give you work, get certified. So that's what the next step is. I'm probably driving to Ohio to Bruno's website dealership to get training on Bruno lifts. And then the next plan is to go to Florida to Harmar to learn the stair lifts, to get both of those in my pocket. And that's the plan for me going forward. I do want to say that also, yes, my legs stopped, but my life didn't. So anybody struggling, message me, message Will with me. Everybody likes to talk. Listen, we can't do this alone. It's no I in team. I know that's cliche, but we have to be like this. We're a minority. What do minorities do? They stay together. So don't isolate. That's my number one thing. I try not to isolate. I get it. It's comfortable. We don't want to isolate. We have to talk and raise your hand and say who you are. We don't know what you're going through unless you don't talk about it. So I would just suggest doing that. And I'm very excited for tomorrow, the cooking, because everything's sideways. You brush your teeth sideways. You cook sideways. You do the oven is the toughest part without burning your leg. So I get that. I think the Blackstone's my next kind of purchase. I'm leaning towards that. Yeah, right. I'm sure. I have a hot plate.
I would have to say that the Blackstone was a game changer, especially if you're going to venture into like meal prepping and you want to bulk cook. Because if you don't have, like for us, we don't have a full kitchen. So the Blackstone gives us the opportunity to
A
really,
lot of ground meat
a
and
lot
stuff.
of, yes,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. Um, does anyone have any questions for Jay? He shared so many amazing things about some resources for not only the VA, but some of the sports that he's tried out. If anyone has questions about the activities that he tried or how he stayed positive, does anyone else want to share maybe something that kind of resonated with you that he said? I know for me, a couple of the things that really stood out was like getting involved, right? Don't isolate yourself. And I think what really came off so far, Jay, is like you're really like silver lining personality, right? Like, yeah, this stuff is crappy, and we can always focus on the fact that like pneumonia led to paralysis, led to this, and the bad staple, and now you broke your leg. I mean, he could be focusing on all these awful, awful things, but instead he's choosing on focusing on like, wow, I found this really amazing community. I'm meeting people who want to keep moving on and living their life. So that's what really resonated with me with what he was sharing. So I would love to hear, and I know Jay would also love to hear from someone else and like what keeps you inspired to kind of moving forward, or what did he share that maybe kind of re-sparked that for you guys?
Yeah.
Agua break.
I know that kind of resonated with me, reaching out and getting into the community and things. because you can get into your own head and things can, if you focus on the bad, but when you start focusing on the better things and reaching out to see what kind of groups you could become part of. And that's actually how me and Bree met is through a spinal cord injury support group,
Mhm.
and it was just me going in there and be like, hey, this is this is me, this is who I am, this is where I've worked, this is what I do. And if anybody has questions, reach out. And Bree reached out about Universal Studios because I used to work at Universal, and from there it was just it's all been downhill. But um, it just but it's getting out in the community, finding those people that you want to be around and want to be around you.
Mhm.
Absolutely, yeah. That was like the big turning point, doing stuff like that.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
It's
Jim, you unmuted. Did you have something that you wanted to share too?
Yeah, I just wanted to say how inspirational his whole story is, and that I mean, like to overcome some of those obstacles. I I couldn't even imagine. Fortunately, I'm not in that situation, but just hearing that inspiration that he has and you know, his perseverance, through it all, and an obstacle got in his way, and what he found a way to overcome the obstacle. It's just so inspiring to me. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that the VA has been able to help him in the manner that it has. I mean, because yeah, that's a big thing when you serve our country, and you sacrifice for the greater good, and you don't look for anything out of it. And then you're granted these things because your life turns tragic at one point, and you're able to overcome a lot of these obstacles with the help. And part of it's actually finding the help, and networking and getting the information, in order to do that. And that's I just find it completely amazing and inspirational. I really do. And I love you, Jay.
love you too, bud.
I agree more. And kind of like you were saying, Jim, Jay's been in this for a couple of years now. I'm 15 years out. Jake is almost 30 something years out. And we're
Wow.
still finding new resources. That's the thing about this community is that there is so many different grants or foundations or programs or adaptive communities or adaptive
Yeah.
sports. Like I had no idea that even in Charlotte that the ASAP program had the potential to open us up to pickleball and archery and basketball and like things that I didn't know were in my community. And I've been here for 4 years. Like I did my PT there and I never knew about these additional resources. So that's one of the main reasons why Wheel with Me loves to have people like Jay on is because now he's shared his story, he's talked about all the resources, and when someone else comes to find this video, they can be like, "Hey, I live in that area. I'm a newbie. He went to ski in
Yep.
Connecticut. I'm gonna reach out to homie, and now I'm gonna go ski in Connecticut." And now, without even meeting this person, Jay is gonna impact the future generation of the community. It's going to be
Oh
a
yeah.
forever resource. And now you're helping everyone else. I mean, just spider webbing this information out is such a huge impact and so important for our community. And so that's why I am so blessed that Jay was able to come on and share his story. And that's why I love that I'm just looking at some of the names on the screen, like Lindsay, she's one of our board members. She really helps a lot of the wheel parents and the wheel moms with different things that they're navigating, right? And so she's a plethora of resources for parents. And then we have Autumn, who was on earlier, and she works for the Independent Living Resource Center in Wisconsin. And so then, wow, there's another whole spider web of resources there. And so I think the more, like Jay said, the more we get involved, the more we're just like, wow, there's so many. It's like it's
Mhm.
like Aladdin. It's like I can show you the world. Um, and the other thing that I wanted to compliment you on, Jay, like I said, your personality. I think we all have that option to just be negative Nancy's and play the victim card, and you're not doing that. 2 years in, and you're already starting a business to help other wheelchair users not have to deal with crappy lift providers. Do you know how many times I've had my thing looked at since I got it installed in April because those people did such a hack job at installing it? I think
Yeah.
4 or 5 times they've been out here. And so here you
Look,
are, 2 years in, you're like, here's a pain point for my community. Let me solve that. Like, how freaking cool is that that you're already jumping in head first and you're going to be able to take that knowledge and continue to share that. And so,
it's a lot of info and a lot of hurdles to go over still, but the beginning stages are there.
absolutely. Um, so as we kind of like wrap up and do these kind of final chats and stuff, what are some final tips that you have for people moving forward? Like if they're struggling with stuff, what would you recommend? Or are there events that you plan on going to in the next few months that maybe they can find you at? Or if you have, I'm gonna attach his, if he's cool with it, I'll attach his Instagram account to the recording that we send out. But where can we find you? How can people connect with you? Um,
Yeah, and I'm on basically just like my name says, Jay Bohm. It's pretty much that on everything, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. I think the only one, Facebook, has a dot between Jay and Bohm. But yeah, actually tomorrow I'm going to Brooklyn. Heroes on the Hudson is another VA thing.
mhm.
It's kind I can't participate with the sports because of the injury I'm dealing with, but I can at least be there for support. I think I might get a volunteer T-shirt, which is cool.
Oh,
We never get volunteer shirts. We're always in it, but it's like kayaking and sailing, and they have like live music, and they'll grill and stuff. So that'll be interesting. But no, I would say, you know what? Just Google the word adaptive sports. So much will come, and just do adaptive sports near me. You may be surprised and you're like, holy cow, it's 5 minutes away, and if you have any questions about anything, I'll help you locate something in your area. Just message me. Um, but that's pretty much, I don't have any other things coming up yet. I think next, so in April, I am going to, I think it's the winter, something winter. It's in Colorado skiing with the VA. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I don't think there's any more abilities expos for the rest of the year up by where you're at. And I don't think
No,
Orlando is going to be
I got to
feasible.
come to Charlotte.
Hey, you're always welcome for Charlotte. We're having a couple local events here at the end of September, and then we're going to do a
yeah.
Halloween trunk or treat. So
Oh,
that's what we
nice.
have. And then we do a Christmas party. So if you ever make it down to Charlotte, I got a guest room and a VPL on my back porch. So you're welcome to come anytime.
Come in. Yes.
That's been
Sounds
that has been one of the not really talked about things that we do with Wheel with Me. It's not necessarily part of our like official programming, but since Jesse, I rent an apartment that Jesse Strawham used to rent for those who don't know the full story of Wheel with Me Foundation. Um, but Jesse used to rent or used to have this apartment, and there is a guest room, fully accessible bathroom. And so before I even moved in, she would always invite wheelies here to learn how to be independent, right? So she'd have a wheelie fly in, or if they came into town, she'd pick them up, stay in the guest room. They'd see how she lives, see how she worked, see how she takes care of herself, the cooking, the laundry. I mean, she's a very open girl. If they need to figure out how to take a shower, she puts a swimsuit on and she goes in the shower with them, you know? And so that's something that we really pride ourselves on. If there is ever a wheelie that we get really close with the board, we invite them into the house. We're like, come stay with us for a weekend. Come see how we work and how we live. And so that offer is up to you as well, Jay. You are always welcome to come hang out with
awesome.
me and Jake. We can talk about, I just opened up my little LLC finally. We can talk business. Um,
Nice.
but that's the only way we can all grow is right, is by kind of opening our doors, whether it's like physical or just in a virtual sense, or in a social media type of sense, and
I'll
really
be
just
your
kind
best cooker.
of
You can
we're
cook
ready.
together. Yeah.
We're ready. Lindsay is probably working with some kiddo stuff, but she mentioned in the comments that she loves your energy. She found you on Instagram and is going to give you a follow, and
Oh,
she's
nice.
very thankful for you sharing your story with us.
Awesome.
Now, and
I'm so happy.
I know you're up in the New York area, and I don't know how adventurous you are. I just double checked the name of it, but it's called Just Hands, and it's for people with disabilities or paraplegic racing race cars.
Mhm.
So
No way.
you can do a race car experience.
Where's that at?
I think they're mainly in Connecticut, so right up there by you. But they go to
Nice.
different racetracks, and
Mhm.
Oh,
I haven't done it yet. I'm looking to do it next year, hopefully. But I just double checked it. I know you're trying your hand at all kinds of different stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah. I'm gonna
for
friend
anybody,
request you. I'll go on Brianna to find you. I
yeah,
I
absolutely.
I see you guys a lot. I saw you on the main Zoom in the beginning
Oh
before the
yeah,
event, and I saw that. I saw Zach's post of you guys. It looks awesome.
oh yeah, yeah.
Definitely got to apply next year, Jay. We would love to have you out there.
It's the beginning of the year.
It's usually in the summer between July and August,
No,
but
no, no. I mean the app. When does the app comes out?
the applications, I will double check with the camp coordinator, but usually we try to get them out before the end of so we ended this year, 2026. We try to have the next application done before the holidays.
Oh, before.
So
Okay, so
yeah, because we
I'm
cut
gonna.
off our cutoff time is around April to start getting the list and planning. So we like to have a really long application process. So we really try to dial that in right around the fall holiday time. So we should be having that open again really soon here. We just got to
How do
nail
you
in.
actually? Do you just go to the Will with Me website or to
So what
find
you
out?
do, you would go to the Adaptive Outdoor Education Center website, and I think it's all spelled out. So abbreviated, it's AOEC, but if you spell out the website, it is the Adaptive Outdoor Education Center. And if you look that up, then they will have a link if you go to their events. It'll have Wheel Together Retreat, but we also will share a direct link on Instagram, and we will have a updated application link on our tap link. So right on our profile. And so we'll announce when that goes out and we'll link the website right to you guys. But we let the camp kind of handle the applications and then we come together as a group and kind of sort through those together and find a way to make a really good group of people that are going to mesh well and kind of throw themselves into it. This last camp,
Oh, man.
I'm bummed that I missed it because from what I hear,
Yeah,
the energy of the group went really, really, really
It
well
was
this year.
awesome. Yeah.
Everyone went full send in, everyone got along.
awesome.
We always make a group chat every year for the campers for like when they arrive and as they go home to check
Oh,
on
that's
them.
nice. Yeah, nice.
They're still chatting. The chat hasn't
That's
ended in over a month. They're planning on
that's
going
good.
to
Yeah.
they want to go to Hershey, Pennsylvania together here soon. So
Nice.
and that's the point of campus, right? Is like kind of Jay said, finding your community, staying active, sharing these resources, and just kind of going full send into them.
Yeah, get involved.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
Jay, do you have any final words or any final messages that you'd love to share with the people on the screen or the ones that watch this later?
Oh, the pressure. Um, Thank you everybody for being involved and seeing me share. Thank you again, Wheel with Me. So inspiration. Oh my God, I didn't think of this. I have so many little notes and I don't know where to begin. So I would just say if you ever feel like you're getting in your head or you're going kind of down the rabbit hole and you know it's like, maybe that's not the good direction to go, just like message me or somebody that is a wheelie. And I like that. I don't call people wheelie, but I guess that's what we are, right? Wheelies. That's what you call them.
Yep.
Yeah, just grab onto, we're the foundation, so grab onto us and we will take you where we got to go. That's all.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah,
Short and sweet and perfect.
short and
Awesome.
sweet.
Well, Jay, I really appreciate you taking pretty much the last hour with us to share your story, how you've stayed really hopeful and positive through such, as we all can relate to, such a crazy experience over the last couple of years. And on behalf of Wheel with Me, we are so excited to see all the cool things that you would do over the next few years to come. You already have some cool projects in store for yourself, but you've already made yourself available to the community in such beautiful ways that you are going to flourish just like my amazing garden outside.
Yes.
Um, and so
Cucumbers are going nuts right now, by the
Ah,
way.
mine died. We're not gonna talk about the
Oh
cucumbers. My
no.
tomatoes are good though. And to all of our attendees, I really appreciate you guys taking the last hour of your time. We all know that it's a busy time of the year. Kids are going back to school. It's dinner time for a lot of y'all. So thank you so much for taking the evening to not only support Wheel with Me, but to support Jay as well, and to support yourselves. These sessions are not just about Wheel with Me Foundation. They really are about the community and trying to empower you guys to just live a little bit better, find that silver lining, push yourselves just a little bit more the next day. And so I really appreciate everyone pouring an hour of time into themselves tonight as well. We have one final night left tomorrow. So if you have not signed up for tomorrow, please feel free to use the link that I will give you guys with the recording here in a little bit. Like I mentioned in the beginning, it's going to be Jake and I. He's going to be doing all the work. I'm going to be tasting the food, just like it always is, even on a non-video day.
Okay.
And we're just going to bring some accessible cooking to the community. And so, again, thank you guys all for your time and your energy tonight. Thank you, Jay, and have a lovely, lovely evening, everybody.
You too.
Okay.
Thanks again. All right,
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
Have a good
Talk
night.
to you soon. You
Yep,
too. Bye
absolutely.
bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night, guys.